Not a great night for the Boston Red Sox. We're going to recap everything you need to know about last night's loss to the New York Mets. Plus, we're going to talk about yet another trade rumor, this time around a former Cy Young winning pitcher. But before we get into that, I wanted to bring to everyone's attention this photo I'm showing on screen right now. This is one of the analytics that we see on the YouTube platform that shows the amount of people that watch the video that are subscribed. And if you can read a graph like I can, it says that 30.9% of the people that watch the videos are subscribed. I mean, guys, come on. That's absolutely crazy. If you're watching the videos, obviously you love the Red Sox. If you love the Red Sox, you should subscribe to the channel. Let's change this. Let's try to get to as close as a 50% ratio as we can. I'm bringing out you Red Sox videos every single day around the latest news, rumors, trade rumors, everything in between. So if you love the Red Sox, lock us in. Help us change this ratio right now. Welcome into another edition of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lautaret. The rest of the City Connect stuff came in today. It's absolutely electric. I was so happy when this package got delivered to the mailroom at my apartment. I was absolutely buzzing. But that's not what we're talking about today. We have another trade rumor, this time coming from Sports Illustrated, and then we are going to recap last night's loss to the New York Mets. And I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts that we're going to get into at the end of this video. But first, let's talk about a potential trade for Sandy Alcantara. Yes, we've talked about him before. There's been a lot of trade rumors. The Red Sox have been heavily linked to him whenever he is brought up in trade news. And with the way the rotation's been looking as of late, it's an interesting conversation to be had. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it should happen, but it's definitely a conversation that should be had. Patrick McAvoy of Sports Illustrated wrote an article a few days ago talking about a trade idea that involved bringing Sandy to Boston. I got two quotes from you. We're going to talk about a trade idea, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. Here we go. Here's the first quote from McAvoy. He says, "The Red Sox are going to have to make a tough outfield decision at some point. A trade right now would open the door for Anthony to make the jump to the majors while also infusing the rotation with another ace-level starter. Right now, the Red Sox are 5 games behind the New York Yankees in the stands. I believe it's going to be 5.5 at the time of recording this, and need to figure something out. Something like this would at least infuse some buzz into the team." The trade idea from McAvoy is as follows. The Red Sox receive Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. The Miami Marlins, in return, receive Wilyer Abreu and Connelly Early, who is a pitching prospect in the Red Sox system. Top 15 pitching prospect in the Red Sox system. I'm going to give my thoughts here in a second, but before I do, I want you to go down below in the comments and answer this question for me right now. Would you trade Wilyer Abreu for Sandy Alcantara? Type Y for yes if you would. Type N for no if you would not. You're going to get hit with a YouTube ad break here in a second. When that ad break hits, don't click off. Let the ad play. It helps out the channel, but also it gives you an opportunity to go down below in the comments and voice your thoughts. Y for yes, N for no. Would you make a trade Wilyer Abreu for Sandy Alcantara? I am skeptical on this, and I've got another quote from Patrick McAvoy, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. Here's what McAvoy had to say about this trade. He said, "It would be a high price, but Alcantara is a former Cy Young Award winner and a 2-time All-Star at 29 years old. He's struggling this year to the tune of a 7.99 ERA, but he's coming off a serious injury. The reason why a price tag for him would be high despite the bad ERA is that he's under team control for the next 2 seasons at an affordable price beyond 2025. So Alcantara so far this season, 9 games played, 41 2/3 innings pitched. That ERA, like he said, 7.99, 34 strikeouts, 23 walks, and a 1.608 whip. I would not make this trade as it stands right now. Few reasons why. One, Alcantara is coming back from a major elbow injury. The last thing we need in this bullpen right now is another potential injury concern. You have that already with Cutter Crawford, Richard Fitz, Brian Bayo, Walker Buehler, Lucas Giolito, just to name a few. You've had a majority of your rotation not named Garrett Crochet, knock on wood it doesn't happen, on the IL at some point this year. And while Alcantara has not shown any injury concerns so far this year, it's still significant that he is coming off a major elbow surgery, and those concerns will be there. Secondly, he obviously has not responded well to the injury in some way, shape, or form. A 7.99 ERA, I mean, that's not good. I believe his record win-loss right now is like 2-6, and again, win-loss doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, but it's still fairly concerning that he has not responded well. And yes, he's won the Cy Young, but you never know coming off these injuries how they're going to respond, and so far he has not responded well. So, and Wilyer Abreu is so valuable to this team right now. I threw this particular trade in the trade values trade simulator, and the Marlins get back well more value than the Red Sox do. I get that he is a team-controlled arm for the next 2 years, but the injuries worry me, and the way he's reacted to the injury also worries me. Again, I get it. It might take him some time to get back to normal. You're not expecting him to be the Cy Young caliber pitcher coming off a major elbow injury, but the fact that he's struggled as much as he has is concerning to say the least, and I'm not willing to give up Wilyer Abreu, a controllable asset, for Alcantara. I would much rather field other offers closer to the trade deadline when there is a little more desperation from other teams if they want to get an outfielder. I also am a really big fan of Early. I think that he is a really intriguing pitching prospect for the Red Sox, and he's not someone that I want to give up that easily. I get that a lot of people will probably want to make this trade, but I, as we stand right now, am still a little bit reserved. And do you really want to infuse your rotation with another pitcher that is struggling to find his form so far this year? No, you want more stability than that. I do not want a rotation full of people trying to find their stride after being injured. You can't have that. There's no stability there. And bringing Alcantara in, you bring in no stability at all. So I personally would not make the trade. I think, at the end of the day, I could change on that eventually. I need to see more from Alcantara. I need to see more of how he reacts to coming back from the elbow surgery. But at the time of recording this, I would not make this trade. But I do think that's probably a little bit more of a hot take. I think more people probably would make that trade than not. And I get the Roman Anthony argument of it, but again, I would open up that spot with Ceddanne. I would. I think that Wilyer and Jaron are far more valuable outfielders than Ceddanne is, and I think that if you make Ceddanne the super util, you can move David Hamilton's hit really well as of late. You move one of those utility guys down to AAA or DFA them, and you make Ceddanne the super util, where he can strive and play really great defense. I don't think that getting rid of Wilyer Abreu or Jarren Duran, two of the most important pieces in your lineup, for a starting pitcher makes a lot of sense. They are two of the bright spots in your lineup, and I don't want to get rid of them personally. All right, we're going to talk about the game here in a second, but once again, I know it's going to sound like I'm nagging or begging or all of that. I know I've gotten some comments lately, and it is what it is. But my bosses, they've been kind of breathing down my back about the growth of this channel, and I want to keep doing this for a long time. And so that's why I'm pushing the subscribers like I am. Like I said, 30.9% of the viewers of this channel are subscribers, and the other 60+% are not. Let's change that. Let's prove to the bosses that you guys want daily Red Sox coverage. So again, if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. It means the absolute world. I'm trying to keep this channel alive, but my bosses are breathing down my neck. So help me get them off my back. Let's talk about the game. Red Sox lose 5-1. Just a brutal game from start to finish. It was just an ugly, ugly loss. And it's not even that the Red Sox, there wasn't some huge inning blunder or anything like that. It's the Mets outplayed you, honestly. I mean, the Mets really outplayed you in this game. Good for them. You still won the series, so that's a plus. But with the Orioles coming into town, you really would have liked to come off a win, especially after last night, which I consider a signature win. you don't really capitalize on that momentum. And I get that momentum in baseball is only as good as your starter, but you had Garrett Crochet on the mound. And Garrett Crochet wasn't the issue. It was the bullpen and it was the offense. But let's get into it. Let's talk brass tacks. Let's get into the stats. Garrett Crochet threw a good game. He went 5 1/3. He had 5 hits, 1 walk. He only gave up 1 run and 5 Ks. I mean, that's a great outing from Garrett Crochet. He was carving up. He struck out Juan Soto 3 times. He absolutely dominated Juan Soto tonight. And then you go into the 6th inning and you're like, okay, cool. He's up to 85. He's in the 80s. His pitch count's still, fairly low. And on a day where your bullpen got absolutely exhausted the night before, you needed Crochet to go 6, maybe 7. And Alex Cora comes and pulls him 5 1/3 in, 85 pitches in. I didn't understand that. And Cora, and here's the thing that makes it even crazier, is the fact that it was predetermined by Cora that they were not going to let him go long last night. And that, I'm scratching my head at that because I get wanting to preserve your ace for down the line in the season. I get that. And I saw a stat where he's thrown like the second most innings pitched of anyone this year. So yes, you want to preserve the arm, but if that's the case and you knew your bullpen was incredibly short from the night before, why did you not call up another arm? Luis Guerrero is rotting in AAA. I know he did pitch last night and actually gave up a walk-off home run and blew a save for Worcester, but he's sitting down rotting in AAA. Why, instead of having your bullpen that's incredibly thin have to give you 3 full innings, why didn't you just let Crochet end the inning? That's the first thing. And then you can have Hendricks coming in the 7th in a clean 7th. But yeah, I have not been highly critical of Cora this year, even though this one person in the comments wants to keep saying that I've been highly critical of Cora, which just isn't true. I haven't called for Cora's job once, and I'm not going to call for his job here either, but I didn't like that decision. I thought that was a blunder by Cora tonight. He didn't handle that well, and I get that. And even if it was predetermined, okay, then the roster construction, why are we not bringing up a fresh arm? I didn't understand that. It just didn't make much sense to me. And then you saw it. I mean, you overextended Liam Hendricks. And then you had to go to Brendan Bernardino, who pitched good, and then you had to go to Sean Newcomb, who also pitched good. Did give up a solo home run to Francisco Lindor, but at that point the game was over. So I didn't really understand that. But I do want to talk about Liam Hendricks here for a minute. So an article came out midway through the game that Liam Hendricks, I guess, has issues with his playing time and his role in the Red Sox bullpen, which is understandable. He hasn't been used that much this year, and he's coming back from a major elbow surgery. You want to protect him. You don't want him to overextend. You don't want him to get hurt. But then he comes out and kind of drops a stinker last night. So I ended up tweeting. I said, Hendricks, you wonder why you're not getting playing time? Well, when you get playing time, you're not performing. He's got an ERA of 5.56. In 2/3 innings. He finished out the 6th, struck out 2, great. But then he came out in the 7th and he started every at bat down 2-0, and then he had to lob fastballs down the middle, and he ended up giving up 3 hits, 3 earned runs. The Mets took the lead, and then the game got out of hand at that point. Hendricks, if you're going to complain, you might as well at least show up and show out. But he didn't do that last night, which is incredibly frustrating, because if you're going to complain about playing time, you can't just talk. You got to walk the walk. And Hendricks didn't do that last night. So that's a bad look on Hendricks. You want to complain about your playing time? When you get the playing time, you need to perform. And he didn't. He absolutely floundered. He was the one guy besides Sean Newcomb that did not pitch the night before out of the bullpen. He was fresh. And then he drops a stinker. So Hendricks, you want to bitch and moan about not getting playing time? Well, when you get playing time, go out and freaking perform, because you didn't tonight. Or last night, excuse me. You didn't last night. So that really boggled my mind. But grade Garrett Crochet's outing for me. A, B, C, D, or F, grade it for me. I'll give it an A. he did what he needed to do. He got pulled premature. I'm going to give it an A minus because he did have some long innings. That first inning, he got hit a little bit. Some long innings from him. Should have kept the pitch count down, and you desperately needed him to keep the pitch count down. It just didn't work out for him tonight. But again, that's not bad. Like, he went 5 1/3, and he only gave up 1 run, which at the time that was a tie ball game. So it is what it is. I'll give it an A minus, but you let me know. Garrett Crochet's outing, A, B, C, D, or F. Not much to say about the lineup tonight. They struck out a season high 16 times, only 6 hits. Nick Sogard had the best night. He went 2 for 4. Alex Bregman has a golden sombrero. He goes 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Bad. But again, Bregman, he gets mulligans because he's been hitting really well. He's like the best player on this team this year. So he gets some mulligans. Rafael Devers, I just noticed this. Rafael Devers' OPS is up to 930, which is absolutely insane. I just wanted to throw that out there. Christian Campbell got a hit tonight. That was good to see him kind of get his confidence back, but he did strike out 2 times tonight as well. Trevor Story, I tweeted this tonight, or last night. I keep saying tonight because I filmed these the night before, if you guys can't tell. I tweeted this last night. I think it's time. A conversation needs to be had about Trevor Story. Because not only is he hitting absolutely atrociously, his defense hasn't been that good either. Like, he's been good, better than, like, David Hamilton, but he's not the Gold Glove caliber defender that we've seen him as. Like, he's lost a step. And with him not hitting and Marcelo Meyer breathing down his neck, I think there needs to be a conversation to be had because he walks up there and he's lifeless. Like, you just know he's going to strike out multiple times. He went 0 for 4 tonight with 2 strikeouts, and you just knew that he was not going to hit. And I've tried to defend him over the past week or so. There's been some improvement. We've seen some flashes, but more times than not, he's going to come out and drop a stinker. Marcelo Meyer is sitting down in AAA, taking reps at second, trying to make the big league roster. But I think the obvious answer is Trevor Story. Like, something's got to give. And I'm not saying it's a DFA. I'm not saying it's anything like that, because if you DFA him, you got to eat a lot of money. But at what point do you say, God, we got to bench this guy? Like, at what point? Because you cannot just let him continue to flounder up there. Something's got to give. I don't know what it is, but tonight, the Red Sox, they just didn't do it. They didn't do it. They struck out over half their at-bats tonight. That's bad, guys. That is bad if you don't know. That is really, really bad. All right, that's all I'm going to end with that. That's a brutal, brutal game. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Orioles come to town. Will a game get in tonight? We don't know. The weather tonight is supposed to be absolutely abysmal, so I'm honestly kind of praying not, because I'm supposed to go see the new Mission Impossible tonight. So I'm honestly kind of praying the game doesn't happen and they just play a doubleheader tomorrow. But yeah, the Orioles have been bad this year. They're the worst team in the AL East. They're one of the worst teams in the AL. They've been atrocious. You got to win this series. You got to take 3. You can't split. You got to take at least 3. The Orioles pitching in particular has been atrocious this year. The offense hasn't got it going. You're going to have Giolito, Bayo, Dobbins, and Buehler. I don't think that's not the order, I don't believe, but you're going to have that combination of 4 pitchers starting. It's a 4-game series. The ultimate momentum shift you can get with a horrible team coming into Fenway. You have to win this series. It is imperative that you win this series if you're the Boston Red Sox. If you split, or God forbid you lose this series, there's going to have to be a lot of really tough conversations happening down the pipe. But you let me know before we get out of here. Predict the record versus the Orioles. I would love to predict a sweep. I just can't do that because this team goes out and drops 16 strikeout stinkers every series. So I can't predict that. I'm going to go 3 out of 4. I'm going to go 3-1. I would love for them to sweep, but I'm not, you just can't guarantee that. And because, again, every series, there's a stinker. So I'm going to go 3 out of 4, but you let me know down below in the comments, predict the record versus the Orioles. That's where we're going to end it, guys. I appreciate all of you for taking the time to watch the video. Once again, my last plea, if you've not already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Let's grow this channel to 2,000 subscribers as fast as possible. We're almost there. I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, go Sox.